You want to do the intro or you want me to do the intro? What do you want to do?
You go ahead.
Okay. We'll do a couple seconds silence and we'll rock and roll. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Go Be Wyoming. Today, Zach is joining me via Zoom from Bozeman. Zach, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Today, we're going to cover the primary election results. We will start from Sheridan County, talk about some other counties, and go to the state level and kind of just go from there. I'll start with the big one, Zach, mayor race. So Rich Bridger won, beat the incumbent, Roger Miller. Only beat him by about, 500, 600 votes. Pretty close race. But I would say that was a pretty decisively victory for Bridger. So Rich Bridger won the primary there, and he pretty much doesn't have any other opponent, so he looks like will be the mayor. So future mayor. So
big decision there. Pretty important race, I think, considering the past year or so. So then up next we've got Sheridan City Council. The top three were Kristen Jennings with 2,000 votes, Stephen Brantz close behind with another 2,000 votes. And then we've got a close race, it looks like, for the third spot. So Sean Day had 1,600 votes. Then followed by Spencer Guzara, who we had an interview with, for 1,500 votes. And then Tom Kelly, who we also interviewed, with 1,400 votes. So we'll see. Do those, Aaron, you might be able to answer this question. Are those three going to continue to run in the general to get that third spot, do you think?
I actually think, in speaking with Tom Kelly, I think all six people running, because they had more than one vote, I think they still get to go into the general.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to look, but I feel like that's if they only got one vote, they continue to run.
Right. Okay. That'll be an interesting seat to look at and see where they can go, because any one of those three could grab that. So
I think so. And then also looking at these results, almost 80 write-in votes.
Yeah. Yep.
So you've got almost 100 votes sitting there for no one running. So I think that's interesting. Yep. And maybe that's, you and I need to research if there's anyone in there that got more than 10 votes or something like that. That'd be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, county commissioners. This one was pretty easily decided here in the primary. Tom Ringley, the incumbent, pretty handily led the way, and then Lonnie Wright was the number 2 guy. No one really was actually close to those two guys, so that was a pretty handed race. Ward Cotton was close, but Tom and Lonnie were the top 2 guys, and looks like they will be the 2 commissioner spots. Ringley being an incumbent, so he's regaining his seat.
Right. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I know Lonnie and you have gone back and forth for an interview, so it'd be interesting to see if we can get that done.
Absolutely.
And talk to him. So what do we have next? County, state, and house.
I wanted to cover our Sheridan County races there, those house districts.
Yeah, for sure. So we had Mark Kinner, who's representative for House District 29, won, and that was a close race, 200 votes. Mark Kinner won by 200. We had Cyrus Western for House District 51, won with 700 votes. And there was a little bit of it was a contentious race, I think, kind of towards the end of close to the primary there between Cyrus and his opponent.
And I think that was Dennis Fox, I believe.
Yes, I'm trying to find it here. I think Dennis Fox. And then Mark Jennings for House District 30 also won with 400 votes. And Mark Jennings was running against John Heineman, but ended up winning his re-election. So.
Yep. Yeah, closest one there was Kenner, and I think he ran against Ken Pendergraph, I think.
Yes. Yep.
So that was the closest local one. Yeah, hopefully I know Cyrus. I'd like to get Cyrus on. I think that'd be really good. And same with Mark Jennings.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we'll go next now. So we're starting to cover the state House Representatives, state Senate. A couple things we grabbed, you and I both. I'll take the Senate, Zach, and then you can talk about maybe a couple of the I'll take the Senate races and you can take that some of the House ones.
Sure.
I'm a member of the Petroleum Association of Wyoming, and they had a super PAC. So these candidates represent good energy relations, free market, things like that. Affie Ellis out of Laramie County, she won her reelection. Jim Anderson out of Natrona County won his. And then Michael Von Flandern of Campbell County, he actually lost to a newcomer, Troy McCowan, and that was a big defeat. He lost he was almost doubled by his newcomer, his opponent. And then Anthony Bouchard of Laramie County barely won his reelection. And that looks like, wow, that's over not even 100 votes there in that race. So a lot in these primaries, there were a lot of opponents that were close to knocking off a lot of incumbents. I think, which is good. I mean, because there's a lot of Republicans, so you're getting a lot of new people running as conservatives or challenging existing conservatives.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing. You know, I like you brought up a couple of our Sheridan County races got a little contentious, but I think it's a good thing to get see what's most important to the constituents in regards to conservative values. So those were some interesting Senate races.
Yeah, in the House, we've got some interesting races too. There was a really big upset in District 1 and Crook and Weston counties. And Chip Neiman, I believe is how you say his last name, defeated Majority Whip Tyler Lindholm by, let's see, it was about 300 votes. So, yeah, that was the big upset of this for the House anyways. I've got a little bit more here from cowboystatedaily.com. Let's see, in Park County, they reported a mudslinging campaign saw incumbent Sandy Newsom defeat Nina Weber, 1,200 votes to 868 votes. So another pretty close race there, I'd say. Let's see, Cheyenne Mayor, or this is, I guess that's moving out of the House.
That's an interesting one, that Cheyenne Mayor race.
Yeah. She finished third in the primary. So she won't compete for a second term. Let's see, Patrick Collins looks like he came out first with 8,000 votes, and then Rick Coppinger with 2,000, almost 3,000 votes. So yeah, that's an interesting race.
And I think we should keep an eye on Cheyenne just due to the proximity they are to Colorado. And we've already talked to many local politicians here in regards to people moving here. It'd be fascinating to talk to some Cheyenne representatives. I imagine Cheyenne is seeing a growth as well.
Yeah, for sure.
That those local politics are going to be pretty important, I think. But a lot of, like you said, a lot of close races in a lot of counties, you know, like Mark Kinner won barely by 200 votes. You know, Tyler Lindholm, he was the majority whip, I believe.
Yep.
You know, he loses by 300. So, I mean, we're a lot of tight races here in these primaries. I'll have you take, we'll move up now to the U.S. House, Senate first.
Yeah, so U.S. Senate race. This was a pretty interesting one. This is one everybody kind of had their eyes on. And like we said in our last episode, we had Cynthia Lummis, who was running against Brian Miller. Those were the two heavyweights. And in the end, Cynthia came out ahead. She had 3,758 votes to Miller's 1,482. And I think, again, like we said, that was the two heavyweights. I don't think there were anybody else that was close. Yeah, all in the kind of hundreds, even some double digits for some people.
Yeah, the
So,
only, Sheridan County, those were the numbers for Sheridan County.
oh
I
yeah,
looked up the state one, and actually that Robert Short out of, I think he's out of Douglas area.
mm.
He would have technically been the second guy over Miller,
Oh okay,
only by 3,000 votes. Miller only got, I'm going to give him 11, and then Short had 13. But compared to Loomis, she had 63. So
yeah,
I think we all kind of saw that coming. She was going to be the front runner
yeah,
for that one.
yeah.
And then,
Endorsed by Enzi and Barrasso and even President Trump. So
yeah. In a conservative state, when you get that kind of endorsement, you're probably going to do all right.
right.
For our representative seat, Liz Cheney, she's the incumbent. That was I think there was no question in that. She's even got better numbers than Loomis there. Pretty much almost going 80% of the vote, Liz Cheney. So we won't even go over the numbers there. I don't think that was that big of a race.
Yeah, for sure.
And then looks like you've got some more here from Cowboy State Daily.
Yeah, they reported this morning. This was highest voter turnout for a primary election in Wyoming, recent Wyoming history. So it looked like this week, 139,000, almost 140,000 votes were cast, as opposed to the 2016 primary where there was 114,000 votes. And then when we look at the 2018 primary, which was the year where there were, the top 5 state offices up for election, there were 150 more votes this year than compared to that election. So people got out and voted, which is great to see. And what was also interesting was that there were less absentee ballots across the state than expected. People were really thinking, with COVID and whatever else, that absentee ballots would really be the primary way people voted. So a lot of people showed up to vote in person.
And I think we're going to, people will look across the nation. I wonder if that's going to be the case in a lot more states. I think it goes without saying, if you are going to vote, especially in a primary election, I feel like you're going to be mostly moderate and you will go vote in person, even if there is a pandemic, quote unquote pandemic. If you're going to vote, you are likely the person that's going to go vote in person,
right?
The absentee ballot. But that's just my opinion. We'll probably watch the national news, and I imagine states are going to have highest voter turnout leading up to November, I would imagine.
For sure.
That's cool. That's
it's encouraging.
It is
to see. So.
Other than that, Zach, the last thing I thought interesting that we got from Cowboy State Daily was Fremont County had a tax proposal up for discussion, and that passed by about 130 votes. Fascinating. I think if you live in Fremont County, I don't know if you're aware, but we're probably going to have some budget cuts and budget issues. I guess maybe that's their counterpoint is, more taxes. So fascinating. We'll probably have to keep an eye on that for November.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's a slim margin too. So it's kind of, we kind of talked about our council members, they almost had 100 write-in votes. That's what we're talking about is just 150 people not voting. I found that for what the financial situation we're in the state right now, you've got counties proposing taxes. So I think, anyways, just if you live in Fremont County and you didn't vote, well, this is why you vote. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, pretty good election. It looks like a lot of big wins for conservatives. There were quite a few moderate candidates. but yeah, conservatives came out and really won the day. So
And
it
I
was a big
think
day.
there were a couple wins, over some incumbent moderates.
Uh-huh.
If you look at, I was looking at the Wyoming Conservative Association, their new little group. So there were a couple wins in that regards of conservatives beating out actual registered Democrats in some areas. Like it was a big upset, Lindholm and Neiman, but like looking on their website, both of them are A pluses in the conservative view. So it's kind of like, well,
Yeah.
it was a big upset in regards to Lindholm had been there a long time. Big day for conservatives. And I think what's really encouraging is the voting turnout for a primary. So that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this will be a plug, Zach. I'd love to get. We kind of already talked about it. We already talked about some Sheridan County representatives and senators we'd like to interview, but I think too, hopefully they listen to this, like Loomis and Cheney. It's like you guys really don't have. They got work to do in the campaign, but hopefully we could get them on too and talk about that, and then some of these other state Senate and House representatives and senators would be really nice to have on.
Definitely. Yeah.
Anything else, Zach, or?
No, not really. I was wondering maybe, we, like you said, state or the U.S. Senate and House, there's really not much. There were two Democratic candidates, but that were elected. But again, even the voting, the number of votes were paled in comparison to the number of votes cast for, Lummis and Cheney. So, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on what's going to happen here before November. So we got a little while, so anything can happen.
That's true, and there could be some debates. I would imagine they would still debate those Democratic opponents. Kind of have to. Other than that, we'll probably do another one. We'll keep trying to do episodes here every week or so, and maybe we start getting some interviews with business owners, energy, maybe some ag, talk about that kind of stuff, get away from the politics a little bit.
Right, yeah. Yeah, can take a little break from that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Well, Zach, thanks for joining in all the way from Bozeman, finishing up school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks for having me.
We will have everyone on the next time.
All righty.
All right. So you'll transfer it over.
Yeah, so because it still wasn't letting me record. So if you can maybe just share it over Google Drive, then I can work it. So I should be able to download it and do all that.
Yeah, because I've been recording this whole time.
Okay.
And so maybe walk me through that real quick. Because should I hit pause or stop, or what should I?
You could hit stop recording, or whatever the end record is.